Good afternoon, Instagram and YouTube. Gordon Miller here, and I am joined today by my wife. Say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kisa.
All right, so this is in response to a request that I had gotten from a group of followers on Quora that was like, "Hey, is your wife ever going to join you on one of these?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And then and she was like, I mentioned somebody said something about it, and they were like, "Yeah, come on." So anyway, thankfully she said yes. I'm gonna adjust YouTube just a little bit there, where our difference in height is causing a problem there. But anyway, so I took a bunch of questions that everybody had that we didn't get to on the last one because I forgot my questions. But yeah, well, I forgot my iPad up in my office and realized when I was sitting outside with a cigar already lit that I had forgotten my iPad. So anyway, I see my mom is logged in. Thanks, Mom. I appreciate the moral support. So I thought I would take questions. Wow, didn't expect she would be so beautiful. Well, thank you, Amir. Appreciate
Aw,
that. That's sweet.
thank
And
you.
but I feel like I owe this to Graham Stephan and to Stradman. Both of them have been featuring their girlfriends, and so I have a message for Graham Stephan and for Stradman. Look, guys, having your girlfriend show up just for likes, I would never stoop to that. So I promise I'll never have my girlfriend show up live with me. My wife, though, my wife of 22 years, or my wife of 21 years, together 22. Now that's a whole different story. So I will, I'll be glad for her to join me anytime. So, and since we're going live now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 o'clock, it's an opportunity that on Fridays it was one of the biggest selected slots. So I'm sure that on Fridays we'll get together and here in our dining room with our china cabinet behind us. And so if something's out of place, let us know. So anyway, we'll go ahead and take your questions if you have any, or I can, I've been giving both business advice and relationship advice for, the last 3 years on the platform. And so people were curious about what's been the secret. And just for anybody who wants to look at prior videos, each of the sessions is about an hour long. YouTube Instagram cuts us off after an hour, and YouTube will let us go for at least an hour and 20 minutes. So, and the prior question and answer sessions are all archived on YouTube, on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Gordon Miller. And so you're welcome. I know it's like 3:30 in the morning or something like that in India. So if you guys weren't able to stay up or get up early to watch, I hope you guys get a chance to. For everybody on Instagram who wants to continue joining us after it cuts over and Instagram cuts off, you're welcome to go over to youtube.com/Gordon Miller, and the live broadcast will be there as well. The comments showing up, Don says, she's out of your league. So, that's right. She is. But so far, she hasn't figured that out yet. So,
No,
so I'm in good shape. So,
you might be out of my league.
no, I don't know about that. Any reaction to the Elon Musk tweets? Has he gone off the deep end? Well, Elon Musk went off the deep end a long time ago, so I'm not worried about that. So one of the things that I wanted to at least talk about briefly was something that I had spoken about on one of my last broadcasts, but even Taylor joined. Hey, Taylor. So that was one of the things that I had taken the Jordan Peterson test, and I've been giving it to all my friends and other people I know and things like that, collecting data. And I had my wife take it. And so one of the things that I thought was interesting about that was the areas in which we were very similar, both high in extroversion, even though when she met me, she still says that I'm an introvert pretending to be an extrovert. So,
True.
and she would know she is more extroverted than I am. So she was the one organizing all the neighborhood activities with her friends back home and things like that growing up. So she was the one who was kind of involved in all that. So me, I had 2 or 3 really good friends, and I never organized anything. So it's But so we're both high in extroversion, very low in neuroticism. So neither of us really care what anybody else thinks about us or what we have to say or what how we raise our kids or anything else. So it's great having somebody that's not neurotic like that. So that's good. She's very high in orderliness. In terms of keeping things organized and things like that. I am less organized, but she is a lot better at organizing things than I am, and I think that also I'm higher in openness, but she's very high, so that's creativity and things like that. So we both are very creative, but and things like that. But also intellect plays a huge component in that score. So we're both very smart. Kids turned out very smart. So it's it's one of those great things. But the really interesting thing is the areas where we differ. And so the area that we're different is primarily in politeness and things like that. So I'm not known for being very polite, and so she is more polite than I am. So it's one of those kind of things where I'm trying to find my actual scores here. So agreeableness, yeah. So politeness is a component of that, but my agreeableness is not very agreeable in 32. Hers is 90, and most of that is made up because of her politeness score being so high. So and I'll get to the question here in just a minute. That was a good question. So so in conscientiousness, which includes orderliness, she beats me out because of her orderliness score. We're both high in extroversion, low in neuroticism, and I'm higher in openness, but she's very high as well at 71. So really, the fact that we match each other in all but agreeableness, and she has been more than agreeable over the years in terms of one of the questions we just got from YouTube was, what do you think about me having to work so much? And so I don't know.
Well, I feel like in the beginning it was something I had to get used to. It was hard. I think harder when the kids were little, and but it was something I got used to. And now that they're older, it doesn't bother me at all. I look forward to the times we spend together, but I know he has to do what he has to do for the family.
Yeah, and it's one of the things when we first met. I mean, it was before we landed our first multi-million-dollar contract, and so I was working. I'll get to that question on YouTube. Thank you very much. I like that one. I was working like 16, 18 hours a day, and I knew this was going to work because she got tired of staying at home and things like that, and asked if she could come hang out at the office. I had a really nice Italian leather sofa in the office, and she would, kick back on that and sleep, and I would work until 2 a.m. and we'd go home together and finally I'd get some sleep, and we'd hang out, and then I'd get back to work the next morning. So it was one of those kind of things where it wasn't ideal, but we still found time to get together, and we still found time for dinner, to go out to dinner and things like that.
I traveled with you.
Yeah, that was great.
Before we had kids.
Yeah, before we had kids, it was great because I would go to my meetings. I get an extended late checkout time. I think the best ones were probably McLean, where we were staying at the Ritz, and you could go shopping at the Galleria. That would be great. So, but anyway, so that was fun. So we got a question on YouTube about how we met, and I love this story. And
you're better at telling it.
Yeah, well, I've gotten a chance to tell it a few times, but and we, it's funny when we met. It was back in 1998, in March of 98, and so. We heard about Oprah doing a story later after we met, sometime later in 98 or before 2000, in 1999, something like that. And Oprah was doing a story on couples that met over the internet because we met online. And so back before online was a thing, I mean, there wasn't a way to swipe right. You couldn't swipe any direction.
Match.com.
That's right, or
Tinder.
Right, before any of those. So we met because we were both working at major universities, and that was really the only place you had high-speed internet availability. I was actually working from home on a 56K modem, and the thing you attach to your phone, and or using your phone line. And so, but we met. I was using the Microsoft Singles Chat server because I was doing a technical configuration for middle school project between middle schools in Blacksburg and the middle school in Singapore, I think it was, and I'm forgetting where it was, but so back then you couldn't do a video conference call without doing a direct IP tunnel from place to place. So in order for us to open up a video connection between Singapore and the United States, it took a great deal of technical configuration. So it was I was working all night long from midnight until 8 a.m. And we were just finishing up, and unfortunately, the chat server got so busy when she logged in, because she was, back then you didn't have your own name and password. You just picked a screen name, and as long as that screen name wasn't in use at that time. And so she picked a screen name that belonged to somebody else who was very popular on the channels or on the server. And so it caused a great deal of traffic, and with people trying to chat with her, which ultimately caused a lag in my connection. I lost my connection to Singapore. So I was really pissed. And so I made a separate chat room, invited her in, because it was pretty clear she wasn't that person who usually used that screen name, because she didn't kind of know how to use the thing. And a coworker of hers where she was working at the university had gotten her to sign on. And so she wasn't really sure what was going on. And so I invited her in. And I think I yelled at you for like the first 2 or 3 minutes. And so I was just like, God damn it, I can't believe I worked all night long and lost my connection. What the hell's going on? You don't know how to use the server, damn it. So anyway, but so it was, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's my first time I've ever logged in, and so, I realize now this is, actually not only a real person, but a nice person too. And so we didn't have any pictures, no video connection, I had a picture that I had of mine because I had stuff for
But it
work.
was only cartoon characters.
Right. It was the comic chat from Microsoft's generation. But, I had no picture of me. I had a picture of me, but she didn't have a picture of herself. So the funny thing is that so, we started chatting. I looked at her profile, and it said basically, height, weight, it's like, 5'2", 110 pounds, brown hair, green eyes. And so that was about it. That was about the most you get back then. And so I was like, well, is your profile accurate? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I can work with this. So, it worked out pretty well. I mean, I had the spring break coming up the next week, and so did she. So we ended up going out, and I drove to Mississippi where she was, and ended up spending time with her during spring break. And it's funny. I mean, we hit it off, and so she hadn't seen her parents in a while, so we drove back to see her parents, and I never took her back. So it was. It was one of those kind of things where we're actually, still on our first date. So
I think that's the key.
Yeah. Well, yeah, actually, that's it. If it basically just, go on a date for the first time, kidnap her, and don't ever take her back. So, well, actually, it's pretty funny because her parents reported her missing, and so people were looking for her. I mean, they knew who I was, and things like that. So, and they were looking for me. I understand there was a warrant out for my arrest for having kidnapped her. So, it was pretty funny. So we had forgotten to reach out to her mom. And so it was just one thing, that we were just so busy enjoying the trip, we didn't think about calling her mom. And so when we finally did call her mom, the state troopers were out looking for us. So it was like, holy shit. So it was pretty funny.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, 22 years later, we're still together. As of, I guess we met online on March the 3rd, and then met in person on March the 7th. Yep. And so just now, did I use chloroform? That's funny. So, but let me see what the other questions are here. Hang on a second. All right. How did we meet? Both of you look great together. Thank you, guys. What's your favorite thing to do together? I think the favorite thing to do together is probably like date night, probably. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've often as we can, before the lockdown, before the COVID got a hold of society, would be Friday night date night. It really kind of marks the transition between, I work all week, and, we kind of made a deal early on in the process that, she doesn't tell me what to do work-wise Monday through Friday, but Friday at 6 o'clock is really, where date night separates the weekend from the work week. And I've tried, I think with the exception of I think maybe 5 trips over the weekends, I've tried to keep my weekends free and things like that. And I've done some work over the weekends when I've had to, but I don't make it a habit. And so it's been great, just from that. And date night really is kind of the demarcation of okay, look, it's time to put your phone down and it's time to focus on, spending some time together and things like that. So it's been great. I think it's one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's Friday night now, and we're gonna go get some food and bring it back home. But again, making the best of the COVID lockdown on date night here. But yeah, I'd like to think while we've been home the last 7 weeks, it's been an opportunity for every night to be date night. Yeah. But there you go. All right, let's see what some other questions are here. Hang on a second. All right. A lot of couples I know, including myself, can't always be around their girlfriend or particular all the time. Do you guys have the same feeling time from time, and how do you deal with that? So, it's an interesting question. So, as some of you may know from the stuff I've written on Quora, my wife is actually legally blind. And so the weekends have been a great opportunity for us to get stuff done. And because she doesn't drive, it's an opportunity for us to do stuff together. And so it's been terrific because it really has. I mean, we spend so much time together on the weekends. So even I moved my office back in here to the house just before about a year or so ago. And I wasn't at my office that much anyway. I work from home most of the time anyway, so it didn't really matter. But it was a great opportunity to really spend more time together. And, as I think you've said before, it's just great having me in the house.
Oh, yeah. So. Yeah. It's comforting. Yeah. And then, like he said, it's my time on the weekends to spend time with him and get done what I want to get done or go places I want to go. And it works out well. I think everybody has times in their life that they want to be, have their own time to themselves. And we do take that time. I like to read. Yeah. And so I take time to do that. And sometimes it's nice getting up early in the morning and having that time, having a couple hours before anybody else gets up.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, we take turns feeding the dogs as much as we can. And, when she's been working hard, I like getting up in the morning anyway. And I've gone live a few times in the morning too. But, it's hard I'm not usually in the mood to, have everybody around. But, like my smoke breaks that I turned into, YouTube and Instagram live sessions, just getting out on the porch and hanging out for an hour, smoking a cigar, gives me a chance to get away. And I ended up sharing that with you guys, which, ended up, the 17,000 hours worth of, or 17,000 minutes worth of view time here the last week has just been crazy. I mean, you guys are consuming content. I'm glad I'm not monetizing it, actually. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it's been great having everybody watch it ad free, and I'm glad. So let's see, we have some good questions here. Let's get some more of these here because let's see. What is the best way to go about selling virtual digital products online to earn money? We'll take care of that one later. I'm going to focus on us while we have the time. How do you guys manage conflicts with each other? Any tips or tricks? I don't know. I mean, we've always agreed that the relationship is just too important to waste time arguing. I mean, neither one of us, we've both been married before. So we both had marriages where there was a great deal of infighting and things like that, where it was something that neither of us really, were interested in. And having had basically been married to abusive people previously, we just didn't want that kind of dynamic in our relationship. So we never have. So we really haven't fought. I mean, we probably have fought maybe, I would say, a handful of times. I mean, 5 real, Yeah, I mean, meaning.
doozies.
So, well, yeah, five meaningful arguments over 22 years. I mean, give me a break. So, I think we're doing pretty good on average overall.
We respect one another too much.
That's true. I think we do. Um, all right. Do I work from home now? If so, do you guys have separate offices or just wander around the house? Do you have any do not disturb rules? Well, I think when I'm working and stuff like that, so the house is 14 rooms, 6 bedrooms, and we have a guest room and the kids have their own room, so that's 4 in our bedroom. So we have an extra room, and that extra room serves as my office. It's a standard size bedroom. It's probably 10 by 12 or something like that. So it's a decent size, and it has everything I need in there. So it's also at the end of a bridge that connects everything together in the second floor of the house. So if my door's closed, she knows I'm probably on the phone or talking or on video conference or something like that. So if I need to get away, I can get in my office, and it's just like being at my regular office that I had before. So, but yeah, I mean, if I need I don't really feel like I need a lot of space though. I mean, it's like I may need to focus on stuff, or I need it to be quieter than it normally is. And that's more the kids than anything else, especially now that everybody's home. But I've never really felt like I needed a whole bunch of space or time to get away from each other. I mean, we enjoy each other too much. So.
Yeah, agree.
And the house is big enough. I mean,
Yeah.
at almost 4,000 square feet, I mean, we have plenty of space to get away from each other if we need to. So that's no big deal.
And the kids are older now, and it's
Yeah.
pretty quiet around here during the day.
That's true. Let's see. Thank you so much for providing so much value. Wish you all the best. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very sweet.
Sweet.
Glad to see you again, Gordon. What was your opinion about the younger generation not getting married anymore? It's not healthy. A mother needs a provider. A mother needs a provider? I don't know what that means. So, I see. Mother of children and people not getting married. I get that.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
right.
So what do I prefer, marriage or a live-in relationship? Well, my wife really doesn't approve of live-in relationships, so I'm not allowed to have any while I'm still married to her. So, I've offered a few times, but it's all good. But so anyway, well, our oldest son is 20, and so he is in a great relationship, and we're very supportive of kids getting married. Of course, I'm kids. I mean, people under 30.
Yeah.
But the idea though is, I believe that because both of us wasted so much time in previous marriages and previous relationships and dating and being married to the wrong person. I mean, I dated my first wife for 3 or 4 years, and then I was married to her for 3.5 years. So that was 7 years of my 20s just gone. And you dated your husband, a period of time as well, married to him, things like that. So, I mean, it's just, it's a lot of potential time wasted. It's if you find the right person. I think the problem is that most of these kids don't know what the right person is, and I think that they don't know what to look for. They don't really know what to expect, and they think it's going to be one thing and it's not. And now if they took the Jordan Peterson test and had scores like we did, then maybe that would help. And I understand Jordan's coming out with a couples version that does the comparison and tells them what's right and what's wrong about their relationship. So that'll be fun.
That might be important.
No, there you go. So, but I mean, our scores were so close, except for agreeableness, that there really wasn't. It was pretty clear that as I have a reputation now of being, considerably disagreeable. At least she's not. So that works out pretty well. Who wears the pants? Well, I wear the pants. So, I mean, if we have a conflict, we try to work things out. I mean, and I've conceded at least 2 or 3 times in our marriage so far. So, I mean, I don't give in often, but, she is, the biggest concession, I think it was funny. we actually created a PowerPoint presentation with all the kids' names before we ended up. I insisted that we pick girl and boy names because we didn't know what we were going to have, and we ranked them. And I got naming rights for the first child because I'm Gordon Miller the third, and I wanted to do Gordon Miller the fourth. That was the only thing my father ever asked me for was to name the first child Gordon. So I'm like, okay, fine. And so she's like, well, I'm naming the second one. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I got to give up naming rights to the second child. That's all good. And just like our son Gordon is named after my grandfather and our son's great grandfather, our second son, Colson, is also named after his great grandfather. And so it was an ideal naming arrangement. And when our third one came along, we were, discussing the names and things like that, and we came up with the use of a family last name of Taylor as a first name, since it could have been a boy's name or a girl's name, but it was also a family name. So, all right, let's see. So we got some other questions here. All right. So the question is, how do you, thank you, Don, appreciate that. So the question's for you. How do you handle having such a sexy husband? So I swear that's what the question says. I'm just
Well,
asking.
it's not easy, but I've learned to become accustomed to it, and it's pretty wonderful.
Oh, good. Thanks, babe. That's funny. How do you handle having such a sexy husband? It's funny though. So when I posted one time on Quora that my wife was blind, the question came back. Somebody posted a comment was, "Oh my God, does she know you're so fat?" And so I shared the comment with her because I thought it was funny, And so she goes, well, you can tell them that I may be blind, but I haven't lost both arms. And so I thought that was hilarious, because just in terms of a sense of humor, that it's hard when you're trying to give me a hug and you don't have the reach for it. So it's pretty funny. But yes, my wife knows that I have gained weight during the time we've been married. So, but I thought that was hilarious. It's like it's that sense of humor that I really do enjoy. So let's see. What are the other questions? In the first years of relationship, did your wife have a time where she needed some space and took a break for a while? If so, how did you deal with that? Any tips for that? No, I mean, we never had any doubts. In fact, the earlier question was about relationships, being in a relationship or being married, and I'm a marriage guy. I mean, I prefer being married, not just in a relationship. So for me, it was all about being married, and so I enjoyed that, and I have enjoyed being married, and that's great. So and in fact, when we got home, I called my parents and everybody that I knew and said, "Hey, I'm getting married," and they're like, "Getting married? I didn't even know you were fucking dating anybody." I mean, it's like, yeah, well, I met her, when I went to go, visit her and pick her up, and now she's, coming home with me. And I'm like, okay. So it was pretty funny. So I knew really from the first couple of days we were together that, it was going to last, a long time. And I don't know how in the world she puts up with me for 22 years, though, frankly, but,
Pretty easy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Thanks, babe. All right, let's see what else we got here. Questions. Let's see. Does the lovely lady work? Actually, Don, she works more than anybody I know. I mean, she runs the house here, takes care of everything, takes care of raising our three kids while I was working. And that was really one of the things that we began to discuss early on in the process. I mean, my first wife was very career oriented, and she was also very competitive. And so I knew that I wanted a family, and my first wife really didn't want a family. She might want to have one kid, but I mean, I really wanted more than one kid. I was an only child. I hated it. And so I really wanted a family, and I wanted I wanted our kids to grow up in the kind of 1950s June and Ward Cleaver kind of world where mom was at home and baked some amazing banana bread and chocolate chip cookies, and the kids got home off the bus, and mom was there, and we wanted that kind of experience for our kids. We wanted them to grow up in that stable two-parent household. And if that meant that I had to work my ass off from time to time, then I didn't mind. I mean, I knew that not only were we making money, but it was allowing us the opportunity to be able to have her focus on the kids. And, we could have, hired people along the way, where been paid people, to cook and clean and tutor the kids and everything else. But, it just really wasn't the same kind of thing. I mean, for us, it was really a matter of, we really want this experience for our kids, and what are we willing to do for it? And thankfully, she was looking for, to have a family too and be a mom. And
Yeah, I was happy to stay at home and be a wife and mother. And it's almost disappointing now that they're growing up and they're all going to be leaving soon and won't be the same.
yeah. Yeah, well, if this COVID ever gets over, we'll have two out of the house. So,
Yep.
our oldest one is already at college in his second year, getting ready to graduate to his third year. And our second one is on his way to college. So, we ever get COVID lockdown done, we might even get rid of the third. So, and we may auction him off, actually. I don't know if that's allowed, but we'll just, so let's see what else we got here in questions. Don't know how could a woman expect to be a single mother. Yeah, no, I think that's a very hard job. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know
Wouldn't
how.
be for me.
No, I mean, I have a number of followers on Instagram who are single moms, and I watch how hard it is for them. I mean, being both parents and are having the single parenting responsibility, and then also working and having that income be the only thing they can rely on. It's tough. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to do that. So,
Very tough.
but all right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Let's see. Gordon, did you have a time when some mofo tried to steal your wife? Uh, no. Well, let's see. How did you kill him? Oh, well, so yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. I mean, we were out when we were traveling and stuff like that together, and certainly, I mean, I was 33 and she was 31 when we met. So, we certainly were both young, and she is very attractive and certainly was at 31 as well. And so, it's one of those things where she certainly got a lot of attention out there. So, but I mean, I never worry about such things. So it's not something that ever bothered me. I mean, she's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I
So
wasn't going anywhere.
no, it's all good.
I think pretty much I could take on
That's right. Yeah, actually, she's attacked some people in the parking lot before for things they said. So, it's pretty funny. Let's see. What qualities should one look for in finding the right partner? And we guys look great together. Thanks.
Oh,
Um,
well,
so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what qualities.
well, I think first of all, somebody trustworthy or
Mhm.
trusting, and I just somebody who can make you laugh, and then I think if children are important, that you have to look at somebody that might be make a good father or mother, and
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that I think the most important thing so far has been sense of humor. I mean, I think that that's one of my qualities that I think she enjoys the most. I mean, we have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs,
yeah.
and but I mean, I think you have to find somebody that's also really compassionate and just really has a passion for
Oh
the
yeah.
relationship. And I think, as my father used to say, after I met my wife about 3 months after my girlfriend dumped me for some guy she met on the internet. The same way I met her, by the way. So I would actually, I want to thank you. If you're out there, thank you so much for leaving. I understand it didn't work out with the guy in California for you, so sorry about that. But the great thing is that if she hadn't left when she did and I found out from her account that she was seeing this guy online and flew to California to be with him, then I would not have gotten online investigating what she was doing, and I wouldn't have been using the server for work, and I would never have met. We would never have met. So, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for leaving me on my birthday with a note that I probably still have somewhere. But, it's just one of those kind of things that, I think I think all things happen for a reason. And, if it's what brought us together, and it was great. So, but my father used to say, find somebody who loves your ass to death. And I think it was just, we were so into each other that it was just, it was amazing. I mean, it was just
That was
really
clear.
neither of us had ever had that kind of relationship dynamic before,
No.
and so it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and we had so much fun together. I mean, I remember the second day on our trip. We checked out late from the hotel because we were just enjoying hanging out, and so our face hurt so much from smiling for the first 24 hours and everything. It was just great. I mean, we were just having a great time. So.
Yeah, and I knew I had a feeling that I never ever ever wanted to be without this person in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from. It just is, and I would say that's important.
Yeah, I think so too. And it helps if she's smoking hot. So just saying, all right. A question from the folks on YouTube, and then I'm going to go to the questions on Instagram because we're over half an hour in. The question from YouTube is, after the kids are all gone, you're going to have a lot of time on your hands. So any thoughts about what you want to do at that time?
Not yet. I've been thinking a lot about it and haven't come up with anything. I don't know. I've loved what I've done. Loved being their mom and raising them. And if I could translate that into a job, that would be great.
Well, this is where you guys get to encourage her to start her own YouTube channel, and and things like that. So it's nothing that I would force her to do, but I think she's got a wealth of experience like I do to share in a completely different arena with a completely different group. But I think that it could be certainly very interesting and something therapeutic in terms of working through the all the stuff she's learned in the last 20 some years. So. But and she talked about going to law school and talked about doing some other things and things like that. But it's all just depends. But if you smash that like button and subscribe and click on the notification bell, then you'll be the first to know when she starts her own channel. So, anyway, let's see here. Does Mrs. Miller have a podcast about parenthood? No, but that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that that she's considering. So,
podcast is something I can consider as well.
Yeah. We are so cute. Thanks a lot, Don.
Aww.
Appreciate that. Are we going to have another kid? No. 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 No, I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
In fact, if we had another kid, I would probably commit suicide because I'm not starting all over again. So,
No.
In today's time, young people consider marriage to be an old-fashioned and prefer living together alone for the rest of of life.
Wow.
Your views? I think that's pretty sad. I mean, I think I think the great thing is that over the last 20. I mean, we keep. I was on a call last night with somebody, a couple that has a really great product that you'll be hearing more about here shortly. But the couple's been together for 7 years, and they really have a great relationship, great dynamic. We did a Zoom call, and he and his wife were both on, and it was really an impressive session. It was like an hour and a half long. He booked the call through GordonMiller.com and did the booking, and instead of an hour, we went an hour and a half, and things like that. But it's great to realize that how far they've come in 7 years with their two kids, and then we realized that we've been together 3 times that long. I mean, it's just, I know that I get to go to sleep at night and wake up in the morning and she's still going to be there. So that's kind of nice. And
I'm sorry to hear that people out there think that marriage is old-fashioned. That's sad.
Yeah, it's this generation, man. I mean, I don't mean to be down on the millennials, but uh, I said do it, not does. Yeah, she will, Don. Thanks. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we've been looking at doing something like that. Damn, Gordon, I got dumped for the same reason. Some dude from the internet. How did you deal with that? How did I release the stress? Well, the best way to get over a relationship is to get into another one. So that was what I did. So are you guys still in the honeymoon phase? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, I said this the other day to somebody. We're actually still on our first date. So technically, if you don't
Yeah.
include the kidnapping charges. So. Do you answer business-related questions at this time? If you want to, you can ask the question in DM or post it to me on Instagram, and I'll be glad to answer those in the next one. We're focusing on things for my wife and I, and focusing on relationship questions and things like that for today. Let's see. Did Mrs. Miller have any opinions about me driving for Uber for those 10 weeks? Did you tell her the funny stories? You two should be a relationship counselor. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
I
So
think you told me some of them.
I told,
I don't know if you told me all of them.
yeah, I think I skipped the one about the couple having sex in the back seat just because I didn't.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously. So sorry.
Yeah, I didn't need that one.
Yeah, I know you didn't need that one, but I already told it in one of my other broadcasts. So it's the anyway. So I need to have the rear of the car steam cleaned too. I forgot about that. So anyway, so the question from YouTube is, what is the nicest gift I ever bought you?
Gift. Oh.
It's not like I've never given you anything, babe.
I know. I don't know. He's always bought me beautiful jewelry. I can't really put my finger on one that is the nicest. He's given me diamond earrings, and I have a mother's ring he bought me. Maybe that's my favorite because it's about my kids.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. So tell that Uber story. Yeah, no, I'll tell that. I'll tell that another time. Actually, I'll do a video and upload it. That way the parents don't get a chance to see it. All right. So let's go back to Instagram real quick. We've got about 20 minutes left before Instagram's going to cut us off, and so. Go back and pick up some of the questions. She's beautiful, Gordon. Read the story on Quora. Big fan. I'll remember to kidnap. Thank you. Please don't mention my name to the prosecuting attorney there. Did I use chloroform? Yeah, we saw that one. What are you having to drink here tonight? I have I have a vodka martini, and
I have red wine.
there you go, babe. Have a sip.
Cabernet.
Yep. There you go. No sponsorship needed. So,
Nope.
all right. What do you think personal space is? Do I think personal space is necessary in a relationship? I haven't needed it. I mean, for me, I don't think we've ever gotten to the point where. We've been we spend a fair amount of time in the same room with each other. I mean, I don't think that we've needed to get on opposite ends of the house or anything. So
No, not yet.
yep. Gordon, you put so much emphasis on get married after the age of 30. Any specific reason for that? Yeah. So my guidance that I've focused on is based on my research on the topic, frankly. The success rate for marriage after 30 is a lot higher. And The male brain doesn't fully develop until age 29. That's higher reasoning functions and its emotional center. So guys are relatively immature until they turn 29. Now, women mature between the ages of 19 and 21 emotionally and in terms of maturity. And guys mature between the age of 25 and 29. Although a buddy of mine is like 47, lives down the street, he's immature as fuck. So it's one of those things that some guys never manage to mature. So, but but I believe that most of your, first of all, you shouldn't have a girlfriend until you can afford one. And you need a job for that. Living off your student loans and shit like that isn't the kind of, the kind of idea for being able to pay for dates and things like that. Have a relationship, have friends, have sex, go out and enjoy yourself. But I mean, don't get tied down in a relationship and blow 7 years of your 20s like I did. That's all I'm saying. If I had taken my mother's advice and not gotten married before I was 30, then I would have had a much more successful series of relationships that led up to finally meeting my wife and being married. So as it is, I went through 7 years of hell in a relationship I didn't enjoy, and all because I had that in my mind that I wanted to get married. Getting married was my objective. So,
Oh,
so
me too.
yeah. So hey, you guys look great together. Does beauty matter when dating? Everybody.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, right. Everybody looks the same with the lights off. So it's.
What matters is on the inside. You could have two beautiful people, but if they don't have compassion or empathy or any qualities that you're looking for, then it doesn't matter how beautiful they are on the outside.
That's true, but when you have the opportunity, go for smoking hot. I did, so it's it's all good. Good morning from Australia. Hey, Australia.
Oh, hi, Australia.
Hey, Gordon. Any advice on moving on from a relationship and getting back out there? Honestly, I really think it's just a matter of just doing it. I mean, you just have to put yourself out there. I mean, it's like being in business and anything else. I mean, the same relationship dynamic exists. I mean, if you have a setback in business, or if you have, you're trying to, get some things going and some things, some deals fall through and stuff like that, and you're trying to get things going again, you just have to get out there and do it. I mean, you may not feel like it. I mean, this whole thing that like, it's like, that's why they fucking call it a job. It's like, it's called a job for a reason. It's actual work. I mean, you have to actually work.
You have to work at it.
And you have to put, relationships are work too. I mean, you have to put the time in. I mean, you have to not be afraid to do that. And, the best way to get over a relationship is to get under another one. So, anyway, how can you cultivate loyalty and fidelity? You can. I mean, I think there are biological markers for that stuff.
Yeah.
I think people are predispositioned to, either being in that situation or not. And I think your living conditions and your experience growing up can have a huge impact on that. But I think for the large part, I think it's biological. And I don't think that you can't teach anybody to be like that. So unfortunately. So they say, hello, Mrs. Miller.
Hi.
Let's see. Jesse! Hey, brother. How's the car business? But it sucks. So, let's see. I've been having, let's see, what else we got here? Trying to find. We should be relationship counselors.
Oh.
What's the nicest gift?
There you go.
Yeah, back to the other ones. Really smart. Dumped by a really smart, beautiful girl. Yep. Sucks to be you. I've been having a tough time for 3 years. Have to move on. Something new, I guess. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
You gotta move on. If I had stayed home and hadn't, I guess I actually met you when I was staying home, but you gotta keep yourself out there. Isn't the only true purpose in life is to pass on your genes, and everything else is man-made. Yeah, having kids has been great. I mean, it's one of the things that, we really both enjoy. So, we enjoy seeing ourselves, combinations of ourselves in each of the kids. So it's great.
I think for me, it's the most important thing I've ever done.
So Don, I love you, but you're funny. So Don says, do I ever randomly buy you flowers?
Not lately. I
Well,
mean,
I'm sorry, babe, but I
uh,
have. I mean, I've
I'm
gone to the grocery store and come back with flowers and
yeah,
stuff
but
like that.
I'm not a flower person. I mean, I like my flowers. I plant flowers outside in the spring, but it just seems like a waste of money to me.
Yeah,
So I'm not into that.
yeah. Well, that's a good answer, babe.
Mm-hmm.
Laughing my ass off. We're actually getting it down here in Georgia. Oh, good.
Mm.
Oh, good for you, man. Took a hit, but still clipped 270 units. You did 270 units yourself, Jesse? Come on, man. That's amazing. Congratulations. Or is that the dealership total? And you phoned in 10 in the last month. I'm just kidding, man. So I appreciate the request to be live here. We'll let somebody come live. Let's see, Luke. Go ahead, brother. You're live on Instagram. We have like 10 minutes left. Yep,
No, Luke.
he's coming.
Oh,
Hey, Luke, how you doing, brother?
Hey,
Oops.
what's going on, Gordon?
Hey, good, man.
hi, Luke.
See you guys. I've noticed you guys are doing a lot more lives now.
Well, yeah, I mean, and why not? We got nothing to do, but
This is my first time.
This is her first time going live, but
Yeah.
rather than me sitting out on the back porch with a cigar, I figured, what the heck? So many people had requested that she join me. I figured, she was up for it, so why not?
hmm Yeah, it's been pretty boring for me myself. So these
No.
help.
Well, that's so you need to be on lockdown with somebody else. See, that's the secret. So it's
Yeah, lucky time, right?
yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for saying hi. I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna get back to
Yeah.
answering some of the questions before we run out of time.
Oh yeah. That's no
All
problem.
right, brother.
I'll see you later,
Thanks,
Gordon.
man.
Bye.
Yep. See you.
Let's see. Oh my God. Well, I see. That's not. It's just everybody in the thing. So I thought it was people asking to go live.
Mm.
So, all right. Do we believe aliens exist? So, I don't know. What do you think, babe? You think we've been visited by alien life?
I'm not sure about aliens. I do believe there's probably other life sources out there,
Yeah.
not particularly alien. I mean, I guess if you think of them being any life source other than Earthlings, then they're aliens.
That's true.
But,
Yeah. I mean, if I don't know. I mean, I'm still a fan of the idea that aliens built the pyramids. So,
yeah, one of life's phenomenons.
as Jesse says, we are the aliens. So that's about right, buddy.
Could be
So
to others. Yeah.
you both look perfect together. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So let's see. Thank you for joining. Whoops. Hit the wrong thing. Do we have only sons? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we have 3 boys. The kids now are 20, about to be 18, and about to be 14. So the kids have birthdays coming up in the next 2 and 3 weeks, respectively, and with our youngest turning 14 in 2 weeks. And so yeah, I mean, it's been great. So everybody's on even years or odd years once they have their birthdays. So
Right.
and so we have 20, 18, and 14 coming up here. So
Blessed with boys.
yep, yeah. So as I had said on one of my posts, is my wife is the mother to 4 children, myself being the oldest and largest child. So I think she feels like that sometimes in terms of herding cats in the house there. So
Sometimes.
thankfully we have 2 dogs, and we have 1 male and 1 female. So at least we have 1 other female in the house. And it's funny, but Lucy hates it when I give her a hug. Lucy gets so jealous because she's the only other girl in the house, and she hates it when the 2 of us hug in the kitchen. So it's pretty funny. She'll actually get between us trying to get us apart. So it's pretty funny. But we got about 6 more minutes on Instagram. before it drops off, and we'll probably drop off on YouTube at the same time because we have to go pick up dinner. I don't want those DoorDash guys touching my food. So, but any last questions? And all the questions you guys posted on Instagram for today, I'll answer all those either in a session over the weekend or on the session on Monday. And so again, just to repeat, do we have a hot tub? No, we don't. Not in this house. And we have a huge jetted tub in the master, but it's just so much trouble to even use. It's not even, it's kind of triangular. I don't know, whoever designed a triangular tub needs to have their head examined. So it's not really we're contemplating a bathroom redesign at some point here, and it will definitely be to rip the triangular tub out of there. Definitely. So thoughts on the younger generation as a hookup culture. So I appreciate that, Luke. We talked about that a little bit earlier, just in the fact that I think that the kids are missing out on the kind of quality that only comes in some kind of a relationship. And so I think that's, one of those kind of things that, I think they miss out on that. And it's great. I mean, I think it's great for, people who don't mind, going from meaningless sexual encounter to meaningless sexual encounter. But, for me, it's always been, I can't have I can't be intimate with somebody I don't have a relationship with, and it doesn't work for me. So it's just one of those kind of things where we both enjoy being in a relationship together, and we enjoy being married. And so I think that the kids are missing out on that kind of opportunity. It's a shame. And it's really horrible for anybody who elects to have kids, because frankly, with implants and other birth control devices, as well as oral contraceptives and barrier methods and stuff like that, there's no reason or no excuse to end up having a child if you aren't planning on it. I mean, we didn't have kids until we planned on having children. We even spaced them out, the way we wanted to space them out. So, I mean, it wasn't like, oh goodness, we ended up having a child. Well, how did that happen? So
no mistakes.
Yeah, right. I mean, we had each of our kids on purpose at exactly the time we wanted them, because of going through the family planning process. And I think that, we knew we wanted kids. We knew how many we wanted. It's funny, I was an only child, so I knew I wanted at least two, and we had two boys, and I thought, okay, we're probably done. And she had two. She was one of two. She has a brother. And so, she was like, well, I always thought we'd have three kids. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I always thought we'd have an extra 200,000 or 300,000 in the bank. But, I lost that argument pretty quickly, and I'm like, all right, well, we'll have three. But I'm glad we had the third, and we've spoken a number of times about our kids and things like that. So, all right, in the last 3 minutes, let's see, we got a couple questions here. Very blessed to see the person who made Gordon into the man he is. He's talented. You put in the stability and maturity to make him an all-around winner.
Aw.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. You guys, you gotta make me cry live on cam. Thanks. Appreciate that. No, it's true. So, I've said this before, that, I had not made my first million until after I'd met her. And I was happy making $300,000 being single and stuff like that. And then 300 led to 500, 500 led to a million led to 1.5 million, 1.8 million, 2.1 million, 2.5 million, 2.8 million. We just kept going. And it was just one of those kind of things where if she hadn't come along and we hadn't started a family together, I really wouldn't have had the motivation to do that. So it's been a great experience. So, anyway, well, we're getting the 1 minute, we're in the 2 minute warning zone. We got a minute left on Instagram. I appreciate all you guys, showing up and sharing everything.
Yeah, thank you all.
So
It's been great.
Oh, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
And now I got to drive across town and get dinner. But I really want to say thanks. I mean, I appreciate you guys, showing up, and I don't know how many the total viewership has been. It's pretty high right now on YouTube. And we'll post everything up on Instagram and YouTube. It gets saved in my story, and you'll see all of the comments as well as everything else. Your mom says hi.
Hi, Mom.
We appreciate everything. What's our favorite place in the U.S.? Probably New York City. I think we enjoyed our trip to New York City to go see concerts at Madison Square Garden, things like that.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
But so everything will get posted. Thanks, Mom. Love you too. And everything will be posted on YouTube at youtube.com/Gordon Miller. And smash the like button, subscribe, and it helps out. And it just means that other people get to find our stuff too. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. So much for Instagram. 67 people. Good. Share that. All right. So now we're here. Whoa.
Wow.
Ah. Sorry. I was going to adjust it so we weren't off angle there so much, but all right. There you go. So let's see. We got a couple more questions. Let's see. Your lovely Mrs. Miller.
Thank you.
Let's see. Do you ever feel so lucky to have a husband like Gordon? Thanks, Don. Appreciate that.
Yes. Every day I thank my lucky stars.
That's funny. Don, your check is in the mail. Thank you very much. Give me your Cash App ID. I'll Cash App you $100. So you're lovely. You're the best. Looking forward to scheduling a call on your website. Well, thanks, Christopher. I appreciate that. I don't charge for any of the content. I answer as many questions as I can on here live. I'm happy to do that. And I really enjoy helping everybody. It's been fun to have people on the calls. I really enjoy helping the entrepreneurs who are out there trying to help their families and things like that. I wish that I had somebody that I could have turned to when I was coming up to be able to do that as well. And so, it's just great to be able to work with people and and help them get to where they want to be. And I appreciate that. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, planning to schedule the call, Christopher. And everyone likes a winner in evolution. Yeah. Yep. If evolution job. Oh, it's evolution's job. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're like the father I never had. Well, thanks, Don.
Aww.
I appreciate that. Well, it's funny too because one of the other comments said that I was the Gary V of Quora. Well, I think that's that's fine. Unfortunately, I don't think that's accurate. I don't like yard sales, and so Gary seems to go around. Although I told Gary that one of my last uploads. We have close to probably 500 or more Hot Wheels cars. And if Gary would like to come and be on my channel and pick up the Hot Wheels cars in person, I'll give him all 500 cars for $50. We'll have a yard sale just for Gary, and he can come pick up the Hot Wheels cars and be on my channel for 15 minutes, and we'll be good to go. So that'll be funny if he accepts the offer. But I'm a huge Jets fan too, if it helps, Gary. I mean, it's all about, I was a huge Joe Namath fan back in the 70s and was a huge follower of the Jets. So I hope you get a chance to buy the Jets someday. That'd be great. And, some season passes will be fun. So it's all good. Have I considered making more clickbait, high production quality videos to try to grow your video viewership? So no, because that's really not what it's like. I'm not doing this to make money. Graham Stephan makes $1.1 million a year off of his videos, and that's great. And he makes $500,000 a year off the stuff he sells. And I'm not hating on Graham Stephan. I'd love Graham Stephan, if you want the Hot Wheels cars, you're welcome to come by. Savannah has launched her own channel, and you guys are doing great. I enjoy the content, and it's all good. But I'm not here to make money on the content. if like the couple that called last night, so they have a product that they've been trying to sell for the last several years, and mostly over the last 3 years, and they've got patents, they've got great products, but they really just didn't know what to do with it. And so helping them plug into some opportunities that I have going on gives me a chance to take some equity, do some revenue share, and things like that. If we get to where we want to be, we'll probably sell close to 100,000 a month worth of their products in the channel that we're going to do. And so I would make about 10% of that. So that's about 100,000 or 10,000 a month. So I end up making like 120,000 a year off of that one project for a long period of time. If we end up selling a licensing deal and we sell it for 50 million bucks, then it's great. So I would get 10% of that too, and so I make about $5 million. So if that happens in the next 2 or 3 years, I will have made like $5.5 million on that one deal, and starting from an original $250 phone call. And I didn't charge him anymore after all that. I mean, it's a great opportunity, and everything else that I'm doing for free. But I don't need to make ad revenue or downloads for courses and stuff like that. That's not what I do. I mean, I'm not here to sell you some course you're going to use part of once and then wish you hadn't spent $300 on the course. I mean, I'm not here to make money off of making you wait 4 minutes to finish listening to the video. So in ad space, I just don't think that's the right thing to do. I'm here to connect with people. I'm here to plug people into opportunities that I have. And if you want to schedule time, you can go to gordonmiller.com, book a call, and we can see how we can help you. But I don't make anything off the calls. I mean, the call time money is just a screening process that I use to keep people from bugging me for time. And I get people that are like, hey, can you cut it down to $100? Or can I have what's the cost for 15 minutes? I'm like, dude, it's not about 15 minutes for $75 or $85. This doesn't work that way. I mean, it's just not. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not doing that to do that. I'm committing my time and energy to helping people, and I just don't have time for people that aren't going to be invested in the opportunity as well. So, but it's you can check out LinkedIn, join my LinkedIn professional network. You guys can plug in to that. I have over 8,000 people there. Thanks for following my space on Quora for the Truth Unfiltered. It's now up to 258,000 people. So frankly, we're about to eclipse the natural followers for Sean Kernan's profile. I think he has like 268,000. So we're about 10,000 people are another week away from eclipsing that, and none of his spaces have more than 200,000 followers. So, and I'm not hating on Sean. I'm just saying, Sean, utilized the system to surpass me in followers, where my followers are not growing anymore on my profile, but my followers are growing exponentially on my space. So clearly, Quora is doing its very best to keep me from getting any more followers, and which is fine. I mean, I have about 149,000 followers now, but I've gained over 100,000, 150,000 followers to my space in the last 2 months alone. So, clearly Quora does not want me to have access to my followers. They're sharing my answers with like 1,000 people at a time, and that's it. And they've given me some bullshit reason for that, and that's fine. But the reality is that I'm connecting with people in this environment. The stuff's out there, and will continue to be out there. Over the summer, I'm going to hire some college students that need the extra income to put the comments and annotate everything and update all the stuff. It should take about a month or two worth of activity. It'll be great because people can work remotely. Stuff will get annotated and hashtags put in and everything else. So it'll be easier to find what you're looking for in all the hour-long videos and stuff like that. So anyway, it's been great. I'll make sure there's no other additional comments that. Let's see. Gary V is a fake. He talks a lot about working long hours. Not true. Finding a mentor is so much better. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm not going to say whether Gary Vee is a fake or not. He certainly has worked a lot of hours. I've worked a lot of hours too over my career. I try not to work as hard anymore, but I'm not saying Gary Vee's a fake. I mean, that wasn't my point. But finding a mentor is much better. And I have individual videos on YouTube, like 9 of them for all of my mentors. So thanking them all. You said you live a modest life, but being so successful, do you guys find it hard not to go for things you don't need but just want? And yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've had some nice vacations along the way, and we've had some, I mean, she has indulged in my car fetish. I think that's been, that I think that's, one of the things that I've enjoyed about us is that she doesn't spend a great deal of money on herself, and I try not to. I mean, I've certainly, I've bought devices and computers and stuff like that. For a while there, I think Amazon was showing up like every other day, but I try not to abuse that anymore. And we've cut down on the Amazon deliveries and stuff like that. But of course, most of the stuff that I buy, I end up recommending to our clients and things like that, or using and stuff that we're doing. So most of the stuff comes in handy in one way or another.
Yeah.
So
I'm more practical.
Yeah, exactly. You are, and I enjoy that. I mean, it's but it's it's one of the things that one of the reasons that my first marriage didn't work out was because I would come home and my wife had been traveling to visit her parents and stop by Richmond on the way back to Blacksburg, and she would have, she'd start out by saying, "You'll never guess how much money I saved us today," and she would have spent like 3 times that much on Italian leather shoes. She had 88 pairs of Italian leather shoes and stuff like that. So, I mean, my wife is much more practical than that. I mean, she doesn't have 88 pairs of shoes. I mean, I don't know how many pairs of shoes you have, but you're not paying $300 or $400 a pair of shoes though. So,
No.
finding a nice pair of shoes doesn't cost $300 or $400. And I think we've both been very practical about that, and things like that. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's one of the things that before. I mean, I think we both had partners in previous marriages that were spending money as fast as anybody could make it, and so and we both were. You were working your ass off, and your husband was spending all the money, and I was working my ass off, and my wife was spending all the money. So it worked out great. I mean, we both, I don't think, spent a whole lot of money on stuff that we really probably didn't need, but so. But anyway, all right. Well, I think it's about time to wrap up. We're about 15 minutes past our hour mark here, and I appreciate everybody joining. Again, appreciate you guys following. Instagram will have the schedules. It's going to be pretty much the same: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 6, 3 days a week. Try to get my wife to join me on Fridays and things like that. Maybe I can convince us to, do dinner, out for date night in, following the broadcast. But anyway, I appreciate all the comments and all the feedback and all the good wishes and stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you all.
You guys are terrific, and I appreciate Don and everybody else. I appreciate the comments. And I appreciate the opportunity. My wife has been very interested in the reaction I've gotten from people who follow me online and things like that, and has exhibited interest in potentially doing stuff. And so, if you guys have some positive comments, leave them down below. And
I'd appreciate that.
And so if she should start her own channel and things like that, then she probably will.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it so much. I'm gonna go get dinner. Bye.
Thanks again.